So, unfortunately, we had another big talked about moment from Raw this week regarding Mandy Rose and Nia Jax. We know what Nia Jax's storyline is right now. There seems to be some tension growing with her partner, Shayna Baszler, and her other storylines seem to include throwing Lana through the commentary table every week on Raw. But Lana going through the table wasn't the biggest talked about moment regarding Nia Jax this week at all. The most talked about moment was something else that happened within the same segment with Nia Jax and Mandy Rose. Nia Jax took Mandy Rose and very forcefully tossed her out of the ring. Now, when you watch it in real time, you may not notice much of the horrible impact, but if you watch it back in slow motion, you can see just how much of a bad spill it really was. The discussion amongst the fans seems to be split. Some fans are thinking that you can't really put this one on Nia Jax. It was more of a mistake from Mandy's end. She missed the middle rope and mistimed everything, leading to an awful fall directly on her shoulder. While other fans are saying that Mandy Rose didn't have time to get prepared and time it perfectly because she wasn't expecting to be tossed so hard by Nia Jax in the first place. So the discussion amongst the fans seems to be 50-50. Some put the blame on Nia Jax, and others claim it was Mandy's fault by herself. Now, of course, it's not to say it was necessarily Nia's fault here, but you can't help but look at the track record. Superstars such as Kairi Sane, Ember Moon, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and many others have all been injured during brief encounters with Nia Jax. So that history often gets brought up during moments like this. But we'll have to see how severe this Mandy Rose injury really is. Reports claim that it was legitimate because Mandy was still in pain backstage and was being checked out to see what the issue was. Of course, there's no official word on what type of injury this is, but just telling by the fall on Raw, it has to be a shoulder and arm related because that's where she fell the hardest on. So we'll have to wait it out. Survivor Series should paint us a picture on just how bad it is. Is it something that Mandy Rose can work through, or is it something that will keep her on the sidelines and possibly lose that Survivor Series spot on Team Raw? We'll have to see how things play out because it looked very serious for Mandy. But hopefully, Mandy Rose is okay. For today's first bonus story, we'll be taking a look at the massive backlash that Raw commentator Byron Saxton received for his comments live on Raw. So the WWE commentators do have some wiggle room to say whatever they like, but they often do have scripts themselves with certain key things that they have to mention during a particular match. Byron Saxton had one of those big scripted lines this week that got a lot of mixed reactions from fans. During the Asuka vs. Nia Jax match, Saxton referred to the matchup between the two of them as WrestleMania worthy. The community was very split on that line by Byron Saxton. A majority of fans thought that was actually a horrible line because a lot of fans don't see that as a huge WrestleMania dream match at all. So everyone started coming after Byron Saxton for that outrageous claim, but reports claim that it wasn't Byron's call at all. That was one of the big scripted lines that was planted, and he was forced to mention it. That line at least gives us an idea of what WWE is thinking. It seems like they see Asuka vs. Nia Jax as this huge WrestleMania dream match. But if they were to look around from the reaction of their fan base, they'll see that a majority of fans don't really agree with that idea. Could it be a very early hint for next year's WrestleMania? I seriously doubt it. It's way too early. Plus, you have Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and possibly others coming back for WrestleMania. So the Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania is more likely to be involved with some of those big returning names. I can't really see Asuka vs. Nia Jax being the huge WrestleMania women's match when you have all those other returning women, so don't freak out about that matchup just yet. We do have to hope that WWE finds some direction for Asuka soon. She's the current Raw Women's Champion, but it still feels like WWE has no clue for what direction they should take her in. She still doesn't even have anyone to challenge her for the title as well. We're used to seeing WWE not knowing what to do with some of their women, but for them to have no clue what they're doing with the Raw Women's Champion, it's quite surprising. It's unfortunate, and I hope it's not the case, but it still feels like Asuka is just a placeholder for the title until Charlotte or Becky comes back. It's just so unbelievable to see a women's champion that's involved with no feuds and no storylines. So hopefully Asuka gets back on track soon. WWE superstars want WWE Backstage to return. WWE Backstage was a great concept, but it just got off to a rocky start in terms of ratings and execution. Renee Young has even claimed that the show felt like another kickoff sort of show. It had its big moments, like when CM Punk debuted on the show, but after the pandemic hit and the show was already pulling in bad ratings, Fox Sports decided to cut the show. Now WWE superstars want it back because there's so much to discuss. Renee Young tweeted out "Justice for Lana" after Lana was put through the table for the 8th time this week. Paige responds to the tweet and says, "I wish WWE Backstage was still a thing. So much to talk about." CM Punk was also in the comments for Paige's tweet, implying that the show really was done. Honestly, it would be a great idea to possibly make the show be a big monthly event. So we won't be getting too much of it and get burnt out with a new episode every week. But if they turn it into a once-a-month sort of thing, I think that could be a good start. There's just so much going on right now, like the Lana table situation, Alexa Bliss, Bray Wyatt, Retribution, Roman Reigns, and so much more that I feel like it would really be interesting to see what the Backstage cast is thinking of these storylines, especially since all the WWE Backstage cast members aren't on WWE TV at all right now. I feel like we really could get a more raw opinion from them about the current product. So that's just an idea, but it looks like Paige and others really want to see the show make a return to television. Lastly, there seems to be something developing on Raw. This week, Raw was supposed to be the jumpstart to The Fiend versus Drew McIntyre, but those plans were flipped around. Bray Wyatt still had his puppets watching Drew McIntyre backstage. So that's confirmation that he's still coming for Drew McIntyre. But Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the WWE title will take place next week on Raw, right before Survivor Series. As of right now, we have Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. But if Drew McIntyre was to win back the title, that will change the matchup to Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. I think both matches are going to be amazing, so it doesn't really matter who faces Roman Reigns. But the direction for the WWE title is important here. With Bray Wyatt already having his eyes on Drew McIntyre, does Drew win the title and get greeted by The Fiend immediately after? That's another possibility. Maybe The Fiend will confront either Orton or McIntyre. Whoever wins the WWE title will have to deal with Roman Reigns and then The Fiend. So that WWE title match happening right before Survivor Series and this big switch up to the Raw script is very interesting. Could a big change-up be taking place soon? It's definitely looking like a realistic possibility, so we'll have to keep an eye on this one. But what are your thoughts on today's wrestling news? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.